Hello there, guys. So I've done a few things and we're going to go over them. All right. So we're altering this entire design here. So if you look at this diagram in your project folder, what I've done is I removed C. So this entire piece, I got rid of it, right? So now it's two pieces, here and here. But I went a step further. Don't kill me. I went a step further and I removed this piece now, G, right here. Okay, so I want to take G and we're going to attach it to another place, but not via this here. Okay, so let me just get this right here very quickly. So now we have these two pieces. So I removed G from here. It was attached down here. Okay, I could feel the tape. So what we're doing now is we are going to, I've already added all my pieces, so you're going to cut and score according to your cutting guide, and you're going to add all your pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this. I decided I do not need this. Okay, remember I said we'll do that later on. So I decided I do not need it, and I'm going to cut it off. All right. I'd like you guys to let me know what you think about altering this project. If you think I'm nuts or you're liking where it's going. I will not be offended if you think I'm nuts, just so you know. You wouldn't be the first one. Now I'm going to hold on to this because I think this would make a super cute embellishment. Okay. So hopefully I didn't cut my pocket. No, I did not. Okay, good. All right, so all of this is exactly where it needs to be according to your cutting guide. I didn't rearrange any pockets, anything. All right, everything's the same. What I did want to point out is your F frame. You may think, you're like, gosh, this is small. It's not small. The difference is that the F frame was sized for, where is it? Right here. It was sized for a tab page, okay? So we're missing a tab. So what we have, instead of this tab, we have it all the way down. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to decorate that, okay? So don't see it's all the way down. I don't want you to think here would be the tab, right? I don't want you to think that the frame is too small. So I've got my frames on. I also, let me think a minute for, let me just think 1 minute here. Yeah, that's how I want it to open. Okay. So now I removed G. So G is down here, right? I removed G. See right here? This right here. That's gone. D is still attached. All right, if you look at D, D and E are still attached here. Okay. I also, let's see. Yep, everything is exactly the same. Just want to make sure because I don't want to switch things up on you and then I don't go over it. So hang on there for a minute. Yep, okay, perfect. Everything's exactly the same. All right, beautiful. Everything is exactly the same. So what I'm doing now, after I removed G, so I got rid of G, and when I say I got rid of, I didn't throw it out. I'm using it. I'm going to attach G to, because I still wanted to sort of kind of open up the same way, I'm going to attach G to this piece right here. All right, so this piece. So in order to do that, I'm going to get rid of this piece down here. Okay, so let me get rid of that now, because we don't need it. What's on the other side of this? Oh, let me cut on this side because my pocket's here. I don't want to cut my pocket off. Okay, so I'm going to cut that off. Perfect. And this, we can probably use this for get rid of that and also use that for decoration. So this is the front of our pocket. By the way, I flipped these around. I made this down and the long one was on this side, but I I just switched it around. And instead of this going up, this is coming down now. I think I'm going to add a third one so it can come up. All right. And I'll make sure that you understand everything. Leave your questions below. Any question you have, leave them down below and I will be happy to answer it. If it's super important, then you want to send me an email. And my email address is info@paperphenomenon.com. All right. Okay. So in order to attach this, I made a hinge. All right. And this hinge is in your, I'll tell you where it's 10 by 3 and you're going to score at 1 inch and then at 2 inches. It has a 1-inch gusset. I want to reinforce my hinge with tape, with packing tape. This is 3-inch packing tape. You can use any tape you want to reinforce your hinge. It's entirely up to you, but I think it's important to do this because we've got quite a big gusset here and I can't see my tape, but I think this is right. Hopefully that'll be straight, otherwise I'll have to cut it. And then you bring it over. Ideally, you don't want any kinks in it. Get it nice and attached. All right, and over. Right on that edge, beautiful. Nice and neat. And then you want to tear it. Let me grab something to tear this with. Oh, I guess this doesn't, I've never tried it before, but it doesn't work on packing tape. There you go, guys. And there you go, if you wondered. Let's see. Let me give this a quick little burnish. All right, so quick little burnish. Now you're going to fold on your score lines. And now you have this really super sturdy spine here, this gusset, that is not going to tear off. All right, so now because I already attached my pocket, okay, and I attached it with glue, I can't undo. So maybe you did this, and I'm going to show you how to get around it. All right, how to attach your hinge and get around it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to attach this. Oh, whoopsie. We're attaching this to the back of here, to the back. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to give it a little taper, just a very small taper, right on those corners. Don't bring it all the way into the score line, please. Don't do that. Now what you want to do is, I don't need this anymore, so let's get rid of that. Now you can either add glue or you can add tape, whatever you want to attach it to the back of this assembly. All right, and what do we have back here? We have our binding pocket, okay? Remember our B binding pocket. Yes, and I still haven't glued this on because, you know, I never know if I'm going to change something, so I leave it till the very end until everything is put together and I'm happy with it. That's just the way I operate, folks. All right, so now you want to attach this and you want to be at least 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, right there. And the glue is slick. The tape is slick. So if you want it to stick really fast, then you want to do some tape as well. Okay. So once you do that, now to stick this one on, I'm changing this and I want this to be my front. Before this was the front. Not before, sorry, in this album I should say. In this album here. See, that's when you open, whoopsie, wrong. When you open up your cover here, what you have is this, right? And then when you pull it up, you have this. I just flipped it around, okay? So I want this in the front, and then when you, instead of pulling up, now everything's going to come to the side. Okay, let me get some paper clips here. So this will not be annoying until we add our closures. Okay, beautiful. So now you're going to open this up and you're going to situate it where, because it's shorter, all right? It's shorter than the page. So what you want to do is we're going to have to do this way because this way it'll be easier. Yeah, this way. Okay, right there. All right, so I got it. I'm going to do tape so it can stick faster. All right, and let's go with 1/2" tape. Well, I can't seem to find, oh, there it is. I can't seem to find my 1/2" tape. All right, so we're going to go with 1/2" tape. And then a little bit more. You want to be at least 1/8 inch away from the fold or the score line. When you have tape layered one on top of the other, you want to remove the bottom layer first. Okay, it's very important to remove the bottom layer first. That way, the top layer sticks to the bottom and you don't get anything, you know, your tape won't fold or crease in the wrong places. You always want to remove the bottom layer first. Okay, so this is going to be super weird, guys, but just bear with me, okay? Bear with me. You're going to open your flap and you're going to stick it right to the top, leaving that 1/8 inch behind. All right, right there. You want to make sure that your fold clears the flap, right? Okay, there's tape down there. Don't worry about that for now. So you see how it's messing with the pocket? What you want to do, and again, I would remove my pocket, but I can't because I glued it. I was lazy and didn't do tape and used glue, so I kind of screwed that up. All right, so you're going to want to cut down just carefully. I'm sure you guys use tape and you won't have this problem. So there you go. I released it. Done. Now my pocket is open. And now I'm going to ink. All right. Everything is like it never happened. Okay. Now with this piece here, and we have to put acetate here, which is why it's so flippity flappity all over the place until I get my acetate in there. I'm going to put these here to protect my flap. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to put one more here just so it doesn't flip up because it is quite delicate without the reinforcement of the window. All right, so down here, I was going to put this here, but I don't think I can. I think it's going to hang over way too much. I guess I can put it up here like this. Then what we got over here? No, you know what I'm going to do? I am just going to cut it all the way across. I don't need it. Yep. I'm just going to cut it all the way across. Sorry I didn't make you do this beforehand. I would have if I would have thought this through. But I didn't think it through. So forgive me. I'm going all the way across, guys. All right, no need for that. And then you're going to cut it off right along the edge of the book. Okay, all done. There you go. And ideally, for me, this would be a taper, so I'm going to taper it because I don't want it sticking out of my book. And I just got to do that super carefully so I don't cut all the way through my pocket. There you go. And of course, once I mat, you're not going to see any of that. None of it at all. Okay, and this is what happens when I don't think things through, but that's okay. Once again, because once you mat, you don't see absolutely any of it. All right, so just taper there, and you're good to go. Or just do all of this before you attach it. There we go. I kind of like that. So we're going to have this bottom peeking out, which I think is pretty cool. As soon as I get all my matting straight, right? Look at that. How it's off-centered. I love it. Okay, so we've got that. And now we're going to attach the whole thing together. That way I know what I got going on here, people. So now this one. So this normally comes over like this. This whole thing comes over here, which I still think I'm going to do. Because I think it's going to be very cool if we do that. This is on here with tape. So I'm just going to quickly remove this piece because I don't want a double hinge. All right. Don't want a double hinge on top of that. And I really like this. So I'm going to remove this. My tape is still on there. Get that off. Okay, so now, because I want to keep this, of course, undo works really well on shipping tape as well, just so you all know. It takes the shipping tape off perfectly. So I'm just waiting for that shipping tape to get sticky again. All right, so we'll attach this later. I'm actually going to attach this on top now instead of behind. Love. I hope it gets sticky again. Oh yeah, it's getting sticky. Okay, great. So just leave it alone. I was wondering if it was going to get sticky again or not. All right, so because I want this entire thing to come over here, I'm going to size this properly. And let me cut my piece with you all. Why not? Alrighty. So I'll have another diagram for you guys so you can see where things were moved. I think that'll make your life a lot easier. Let me make sure I cut this one right now, right to size, so I don't have to cut. I assumed all the pages were exactly the same length, and they are not. See? I forgot I changed the inches here and there, so I don't want my hinge to be longer than it needs to be like it was with the other one. Okay. Perfect. Now, for this piece, you're gonna, I don't even know what size this is, but it doesn't matter right now. So I like 1, then 2.5, and then another inch. So this should be 9 3/4 by 3.5. Okay. 9 3/4 by 3.5, and then you're going to score at 1 and then 2.5. Okay, that's your new hinge. And obviously this is not the official project, which is why I'm giving you these measurements here, because you don't have to do this. This is if you want to alter it with me, and you'll get a completely different book out of one tutorial, which is what I like to do for you guys. So you get the best bang for your buck. I feel like that's important. All right, so now we want to ink it, because you won't be able to do it after this. Okay, so ink, 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 ink. And you want to do it on both sides. All right. Okay, love it. This purple is so fabulous. Okay, stay still, tape. Okay, so carefully. What's important here is that you're over the score lines. That's what's important, that you're covering that. That's what you want to reinforce. Doesn't have to be all the way to the end, okay? And as we learned, our cutting thingy does not cut this tape, so we can't do that again. All right, and you want to burnish this. It's good when you burnish it. Make sure that the tape is settled in all the creases. Because you will get a few air bubbles with this tape. All right, beautiful. All right, let me make sure I get this right. What am I looking at over here? Okay, so this is my C piece and the short side. Yep. Okay, so this is the top of my project. I can't put this in the back now because I'm going to stick this down. And I'm going to use tape, and I'm going to taper because I don't want it to, I want it to stick quickly. I don't want to have to deal with waiting for the drying time, because it takes a while. It takes quite a while, actually. All right, so I should have tapered after I applied my tape, but that's okay. I will just taper again. No problem, because you want end-to-end coverage, guys, of tape. Okay. And then before you remove the tape backing, please burnish once again. Make sure that tape is on there. And guess what? We have 2 layers of tape. So we're removing the bottom tape backing first. Okay, see that? Then that way the one on top can stick down. What happens when you remove the top one first? Because if you remove the top one first, there's nothing protecting it. It's exposed. When you remove the bottom layer, the top one tends to fold over onto itself, and it's quite annoying. All right, so actually this is going on this side, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, on this side. So I can actually do that. All right, so get that on there. You want to be 1/8 of an inch away from the fold. Okay, there it is, beautiful. Now we're going to put tape on this side. Same exact thing, and then we'll taper. So we have a lot more space in here for lots and lots and lots of goodies, which makes me super excited. Okay, get that on there. Now I can taper. Remember, just at small ends. I don't want you tapering all the way to the fold or the score line. Fold and score line are the same things, guys, pretty much. So bottom layer first. Hold that first tape backing in place. Now stick that first layer down and then remove that second layer of tape backing. Okay, so now this, oh yeah, okay, I was like, I screwed up again. Okay, so now we're sticking this back here. Let's get rid of this. I don't think this may be in the way, not sure. And now I got that right there. Make sure everything's lined up. 1/8 of an inch away. All right, perfect. And now this, let's see if the undo works with packing tape as exactly the way it does with regular tape. Yep, it's stuck down. Okay, great. So now this, we're going to attach it right onto, I'm kind of, you know what? It's really not sticking as well now that I'm folding some more. It's really not. I may have to put some glue there. The packing tape seems to lose its stickiness a little with, actually more than a little, with undo. Okay, so just a note, guys, all right? Look, see, it's not glued down now. So it does lose a little, it does lose a little bit of its sticky, so just keep that in mind, that you will have to re-stick it. Alrighty. Okay, and now I'm going to put some tape down. I'm just going to use 1/4-inch tape for this one because I want a little bit more of a gusset, and I'm not willing to replace this one. Oopsie. Now let me make sure I'm getting this on right. So yeah, so this, if I put it on here, no, this is not right. It goes this way, this way, this way, this way. So I go this way. Yeah, the opening of my envelope is here. So that goes like this. Great. All right, just making sure, guys, making sure. And when you open that, that's what you get. Yes. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm good to go. So I'm going to get my 1/4-inch tape, which I always have. Let's see. I don't seem to have an open roll right now, but I know I have some here somewhere. I do. Okay. So just to make my life easier, I'm going to put the 1/4-inch tape here because it seems to, the packing tape still has not dried, so I don't want to annoy it further. And I'm just going to stick this down here and let it dry. You know, be patient and just let it dry. Leave it alone and I'll let it dry. And I'm only overlapping it by 1/4 inch, okay? Well, at least I'm trying to. Because I want a little bit more of a gusset there. Okay. So that should be, that seems to be drying nicely. All right, perfect. Beautiful. Okay. So now that opens this way. Perfect. All right, and just like before, this will do this, right? And this will, well, this one goes under now, here. Okay, and whatever we put on top of C will be our fabulous thingamajig, all right? So a little bit different in the opening, but still nonetheless fabulous. And I love how this one's the longest one now. Love, love, love. Very nice. So now instead of opening down, it's just going to open this way. All right. And this will extend like so, or careful, I don't want to bend it. Or you can still do this way, right? And this way and that way. So we have a ton of room in here, which I love. All right. And it's still going to be still going to be in the book as it's supposed to be. All right. So it's still going to have the same album cover. We just literally moved. Let's see what we got. We took C out. C is here. And G is, well, this comes down, right? Because this right here is this. So it's open. Where did this come from? Oh, right here. So if you look at this here, this is what you're looking at. This is A, and then this is H, I, and J, right? So J, I, and H. So what we did is we took G and we attached it to the back of A. All right, so these are closed and we attached it to the back of A. And then C, this C here minus G, right? G's already over here. We attached it here. All right, so much easier when you see it in a diagram than everything that I'm doing here. All right, so I gave you 2 new hinges. Okay, and yeah, and that's it. I think we're great. I think we're going to be super, super, super. And I think everything's going to be so dynamite once we decorate everything. So there's lots of room for photos. There's lots of room for inserts. There's lots of room for decor, which is very exciting to me, which is what we all love, right? Oh my gosh, look at that. How fabulous. All right, let's start decorating. Hello there. So we're done assembling. We're going to start matting, and I'm going to start matting this here. So I cut this one different than the original book, so I want to go over this with you first. So we're going to redo I'm going to show you your flat piece. All right, so this is what yours looks like. All right, so for this particular window look, I measured from the flap, look at that, 1.25 inches from the flap. Hello, Kathy. Get it together. All right, so 1.25 inches from the flap. Then on the right and the left hand side, so that's the top, right, with the flap. Then on the right and the left hand side, I did a 1/2 inch. And if you did yours like the original window, that's fine. I just wanted to do something different because that's what I do. All right, I like to give you guys different looks. Then from the bottom, 1.25 inches. Okay, so now you're going to cut this out right here, and then you're going to round the corners. Okay, and that's how I got this look right here. Okay, see how wide that is there? Now for your mat, I've already cut mine. I used this paper and I don't think I'm going to keep it. I don't love it anymore after I cut the box out. So you need one for the front and the back. So I'm going to use this purple one now. I do want to say before we continue, this is important, I added quite a few sheets of paper to the project folder. I added 12 brand new papers to the project folders. So you need to go to paperphenomenon.com, log in to your account, look for this purchase, which is Happy Halloween, and re-download the folder so you can gain access to the additional 12 papers. Okay, very important. Otherwise, if you already download it, if you download your folder, you won't gain access. If you leave your folder, if you leave everything in your folder, then you don't have to download it. It's there. All right, but just log in and take a look at your account and check for your 12 additional papers. If you don't see them there, then you have to re-download your folder. All right, so if you see me using papers that you don't have, that's why. It's because you have to go get them. All right, you got to go get them. All right, so you're going to cut your mat just like you do any other mat, right? 1/4 inch smaller than the area you want to mat. Then we have to determine what's the top here. So this is going to be my top, and you're going to draw a line at 1/2 inch. Okay. When you're using this Tim Holtz ruler, the measurement is different from this side to this side. If you measure on this metal side at 1/2 inch, you're going to get wider than 1/2 inch. If you measure on this side at 1/2 inch, you're going to get a little under 1/2 inch. So the point to me saying that is that if you're measuring on the metal side, stay on the metal side all the way around. Okay, don't switch from this non-metal side to the metal side back and forth, because you're going to get a different look. You're going to get a different look, period. All right, so now on the left and the right hand side, you want to measure at 1/4 inch. Okay, 1/4 inch. And then on the bottom, you're going to measure at 1 inch from the bottom. All right, and now you're going to cut this box out, and I'll do that with you guys because I need to mat my paper. Let me move this back just a little more. And let's do it. I like to use my metal ruler. And just go ahead and cut all of that out on all lines, like so. All right, so we've got that. All right, one last side. I have to sharpen my pencil. My pencil mark is so light I could barely see it. All right, so now we've got our frame. And you need to do this 2 times, okay? And you want to round the corners. So let me round those corners at the bottom, and I use the 1/4 inch side for rounding the corners. Okay. Like so. Okay, so these are the 2 I chose. Again, I am not so happy with this one. So I really don't want to waste it. So I think I'm just going to put it on the inside because I won't have to look at it on the inside. And I'm adding everything with this. I can't see it. I've got purple all over it. The Villainous potion. Okay. And make sure you do the inside. The inside is a must. On the frame, and then we're just going to stick this down. So again, the flap did not change. I just changed the style of the frame. And mine is all the way up there. I put the fairy version away, so I really don't feel like getting off this chair, climbing up on the step ladder to get it. All right, but you can go back in the video and check it out. Okay, here we go. Just give it a little bit of ink to cover up those edges, those white edges, and we're good to go there. Okay. So put the purple one here. Oh yeah, I like that better. So this is one of the new papers, and this is one of the new papers here as well. Okay, which is super cute. And now let's just glue this in. I know I normally don't glue things in, but I'm keeping this. I'm not changing this at all. And I don't want my frame to get beat up, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue it in. As I'm flipping and flapping all over the place here. You know, turning my book all over, all sorts of different directions because I'm trying to mat. All right, so now we got this here. I love this orange and purple paper. It's so cute. The polka dot. I just love polka dots, period. Who doesn't love a polka dot? I love a polka dot. Careful if you're putting glue on your paper, resting it on your acetate. Apparently I love living on the edge. Alright, so then just place your mat like so, and it will be perfecto. Alright, look at that, how pretty. That is pretty. Well, let's see if I can live with this one on the inside. I think it's this paper that's throwing me off. Yes, it is that paper that's throwing me off. I may wind up changing this paper because it's making me ill. Yep, it's that paper that's throwing me off. Okay, I'm keeping this one. Something was not working for me, and I think it was that orange paper in the background. Whoops. I'm not saying I'm not going to use it. Right now there's too much plain going on, and then boom, that orange paper just popping out there out of that edge, that side, and it was just totally killing my vibe here. All right, that looks great. I went a little overboard with the glue on this side here, but it looks good. Oopsie. All right, nice. All right, so that is done. I had an idea for this caution strip, because like I said to you all before, I don't want to waste it. I mean, it would just be dumb on my part to waste that. So maybe like this, put a brad here and a brad here. I think that will look cute. So that's what I'm thinking of when we start the decorating process. And now let's move on to the inside here. So then we can finally commit. See, it's still bothering me here. I don't know. I'm just not feeling this paper right now. I was loving it when I chose it, and now it's like, oh, maybe it's because it's dark outside now, and then I'm not getting the same feel from it. I don't know. But it's, I don't know, I'm not loving it. We'll see if it survives. We shall see. So let's play with some of these new. Oh, I also printed out in an 8x8 some of my book. These are from my book page sampler. Okay. So if you don't have that, you need to get it because it's a must. The book page sampler. I think it balances out every collection. Oh, look how pretty this teal looks here. I do love that. This spot always messes with me. Let's see. Put that there. I do like that a lot. Or I love that. These papers are so fun. So much fun. Oh, I think I'm going to use that one. And then I could throw in a little bit of the teal. Okay. Done. Done. Let's see. Alright, so this could be for the back. So for this, we need a piece of scrap paper this size. I know if you watch the matting for one of my albums I made, we're going to do the same technique because we don't want to waste this whole piece here. What am I doing? So you got to measure this piece here, you know, whatever your mat size would be. Right, and 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut that out. Yep. So throw that out and I keep that back over there. And then I'm going to take this piece and cut it. And I know that I'm going to need, so this one is going to go on top. So this one can be 3 inches. And this one's going to go underneath. So did I center it exactly? This one goes underneath. So I can do 3 inches also on both of those. So I'm going to come here so we get that cat. So you don't waste all of this paper right here. All right, so for here, this one's going to go underneath. So we're going to put this here, okay? Put it in there. Okay, and we're going to ink this up. Get a really nice purple edge on there. And then this one. This one's going to go on top. Okay, so let's do it. So it's smart to put the paper in there so you can line everything up, okay? Come on, paper, don't annoy me. Don't do it. First of all, I don't even need to look at this if I don't want to right now. Okay. So my paper's in there. This one's going to go underneath, okay? You're going to put the glue right along the edge. Very little glue, please, so there's not too much oozing. Like that. And you want it in there so you know that you're lining it up properly and you don't, you know, you're not going to see any white paper. You do not want to see white paper down here. On the top, it doesn't matter so much because make sure you don't glue anything down. On the top, it doesn't matter so much because you're going to glue it on top, okay? So, hopefully that makes sense, guys. All right, see that? And now this one goes right on top, and you have to put it inside too because you don't want to glue it down too low, right? All right, so that would be the placement. And now you're going to get glue on the back. And you're going to glue it down. And you can glue the whole thing down. It's just, you know, I have a problem with commitment. With pattern paper, at least I do. Okay, so that goes in there, and that's pretty perfect. And when you know that it's dry, you can pull it out, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And now when you glue it down, you know, you glue it down. So I'm putting it back in there. I don't ever put glue in the middle of my belly band. I put my glue here and at the top, like so. Darn it. Totally almost screwed that up. Okay, there we go. And then just at the top. Oh, like that. And then we're done. Okay, that's probably going to be the extent of our gluing. Most of it is going to be paper clips. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do our this part right here. I did say I was going to add another one here, so let me measure this. So I think it would be great to have another spot there that opens up. Really? So all you have to do is follow your cutting guide and just cut another one, okay? Let me see if I have a piece of paper. I don't have to cut a whole piece of cardstock down for it because I don't want to. I certainly do. Cut this down. This is just a great place for photos. Oh, I'm so glad I remeasured. I almost cut that short. Okay, and now let me grab my scoring tool so to give that a 1/2 inch score line, and then we're going to ink it all up and stick it down. Okay, so let me just ink this up. I am going to taper. I don't know why I'm talking so low. Just taper a little bit there, and then let me ink this very quickly because we're 18 minutes in and I barely got anything done yet. Okay, here we go. Ready? Let's stick this down. You can round these corners if you like. Okay, so I'm going to do it right on top. You want to make sure you clear the fold there. Oops. Right there. So you're going to be slightly past the pocket, the belly band I should say. Now how did I get glue down there? Alright, make sure it doesn't stick to, you don't seal your belly band. I normally don't use glue, so I have to be very careful because I'm not sure if I'm using too much or too little. I don't want to close my belly band, seal my belly band. Alright, because we have a fun insert that goes in there, the one that I made for the fairy paper. Alright, so let's measure this, and this is going to be 5. And we got that. Alright, so I have to decide. I got that there already. Let me make this a little more fun. Just a little more fun. I'm going to get this side. We still have to make our reinforcers, so that I will do as well. So let's make our tag shape. Ooh, almost screwed that up. Right there. Oh, you know what I totally forgot to do? My tag hole. What is wrong with me? But I guess I can do it while this is on here. I need 2 of these, right, for the front and the back. So let me pick another paper. I'm going to pick this teal color here because I like it. Get that lollipop into play. Okay. Don't need that. And then that goes this way. So let me make my holes. I mean, not my hole, my angle punch. And this one, that's fine there. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Alright, so I may use some more of this fun teal paper, because I think it just goes so perfect there. You can have this one, or there's one with super cute potion bottles, which this is the one I'm going to use right here. I mean, and I'm totally covering up a spot that should just be for photos. But, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to get one of the plain cardstock colors because I don't want to, I could use that somewhere else. I really want to stay focused on what my plan is. And I'm going to use orange. Okay, so this here, this is just the perfect photo size, okay, just so you know. So here is literally your 4x6. Alright, we could put that there. Then we could do another one right here. And then let's see what our 4x3s. Alright, let's do that. right here, or I'll do that like that. Oh no, that's a little wider over there, I forgot. Okay, and then here, why don't we put the pretty paper here? That way we can put, you know, we can throw a photo mat in there. That's what we'll do. I mean, they're all pretty papers, but you know what I mean, right? I think this is going to be, okay. I do love the spider web, but I do this side. Nah, let's do the potion bottle. I like the potion bottle. Gosh, I hate when I have to pick something that I'm not sure what I'm picking here. Okay. I'm going for it, guys. Just cut a little bit of the potion bottle. That way. All right, very, very cute. And then we'll do some stars on the sides over here. I got a new microphone, so if you hear me going in and out, forgive me, I'm testing it on this video here. All right, so I'm going to use this star paper here. Yeah, I'm going to go with the stars. And that way I can just fill this space up here. Excuse me. I already forgot what I measured. By 4 inches. Perfect. This here is going to be, excuse me. Well, that works out just perfectly. And then this one I did already, right? Oh, excuse me. Let me have a sip of water. And then that other one, we cut that down. Can't seem to get any orange over here. Which is okay if you really think about it, right? All right, forget the orange. Forget the orange. I've got that. I've got that. I've got this here. I'm missing something. Why am I missing something here? Okay, I'm missing. Oh, here it is. Hello. I thought I had my paper there. Am I losing my marbles, guys? Is this what's going on here? Uh-oh. I'm losing it. No, there's no way, because this should be the other half of this side. Oh, I get annoyed with myself when I lose my papers. Okay, here's that. This one, this one. Oh, I use it for up here. Okay, all right, I'm not cuckoo. Well, maybe just a little, but at least I figured out the cuckoo-ness. It's like, how could it be? All right, here we go. So I am going to keep this, so I'm going to ink everything. I'm going to glue everything for the exception of the 2 front ones, because I have to make my circles. And I'll do that off camera. I can mat some more, right? We can do that later. So we'll get this done. I think this arrangement is turning out exactly what I envisioned, and I'm pretty excited about it. Pretty excited. Remember, instead of doing the plain old place photo here, we can always do a slot and create a fun insert, you know, something to stick in there, an embellishment of some sort would be cute. And the purple just goes perfect with everything here, absolutely everything. Okay, and let's ink this here. So I can definitely glue this on because I'm going to punch my hole right through the whole thing, so that's fine. Just the two on the outside I cannot, because I have to put my reinforcer through there. Well, I shouldn't say my reinforcer, my closure. Okay, well, we can start gluing some of this down, and then we'll continue inking on the other side if we must, right? Because we can. So I'm simply going to, I'm not going to do a slot on this one. I'm going to do it on the other side. Okay, that looks great. So this is instead of the white paper that I normally do. All right, so if you want to use the orange, there's plenty of room in this album. You can, so this is your 4x6. If you want to leave if you don't want to use the orange, you could just put the photo in place of the orange. Or if you want to leave the orange, then you crop your photo down 1/2 inch. Okay, so it would be 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. I say 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, forgive me. I just caught that. Okay. Perfect. And the other side. Right here. Oh, whoopsie, 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 whoopsie. And here. And now for our piece that goes right down the middle. Okay, right there. Perfection. Very nice. Now we'll put this one down. Very cute. So cute. The candy canes work so well in that black and orange color. Really nice. And with this teal backdrop, it's just lovely. Love, 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 love. Oh yeah, look at that. How pretty. Very, very pretty. All right, so now for this one, do we want to go up and then down? Sure, why not? For this one, I'm going to put the slot in this one, okay? So let me ink that up first. Then I'll put my slot. The purple truly just ties everything together. It just makes everything look so put together. It's important that, you know, we keep that consistency throughout. Throughout the album. so that it looks good. Oh, gotta get the middle. All right, perfect. And I'm gonna ink that as well, just to give it a little definition. Okay, let's put this off to the side, and yep, I'm going to glue it that way. Well, I'm going to put it over here, opposite what is on the other side. Oopsie, I went too high. All right, let's set that down into place. More than likely for the rest of the matting here, being that we put everything together, you're going to hear music playing than listening to me talk to myself. All right. Oh, I cut this one slightly off, which is a bit annoying right now, but I'll live with it. I hate when that happens. See that right there? But it is what it is. Being that it's just going to be straight up matting. Do I want to put a slot in here? I feel like I do. I'm going to put a slot in there. Why not? Ooh, we can use the projects from Sensational Stamping in those slots. Yep, I'm making a slot, guys. Sensational Stamping projects would be so nice in here. I always say I'm going to use one of those, and I still haven't. So maybe I'll use one of those. All right, we got that down. So this one goes this way. All right, so glue around the perimeter. And just make sure you get that, because I'm going to stuff my stuff down to the shallow side. Okay, look at that, how pretty. That turned out really nice. Okay, so now we just need our paper clips for this piece here, because we're not going to glue this down yet. That teal on the inside is such a nice surprise. Love it. All right, so paper clip that and this one here. Right here and right here. And then we're just gonna keep it moving. Okay, that looks great. Shall I choose what we're going to put here now, or what? Is it going to be or what? Is it going to be an or what? I don't know. Do I want paper? Do I want... Let's check it out, guys. What did I do this at? 1 inch, I think it is. So... let's see with the purple. So notice this is from the 8-inch paper, the 8x8-inch paper. Oh yeah, I love that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut another piece. Right, I'm going to ink it. already have it all inked up. So now I'm going to tear it right here. Okay, and then I'm going to glue that down so I get a perfect measurement on that. So it doesn't slide anywhere when I'm measuring the other side. Who said you can't use 8-inch paper on this big old project? And then I'm going to take this side. Well, actually, I'm going to go up here. And then I'm going to cut right, fold right there where I want to tear. Okay, let's see how that works out. I'm going to tear just a teeny bit more. And then we'll have that, which I think looks great. Okay. And now that I think about it, I think I'm going to tear those edges here too. All along these edges. Maybe. We'll see. Alright, that looks fantastic. I'm glad that we covered it. I think I'm going to put one of the eyeballs in here from the embellishments. Let's see. I know we said we weren't going to embellish yet, but can't help myself. If I could find my embellishments. Okay, I put my embellishments together now in one of my papers here, and now I don't know what I did with it. See what happens when you get so organized? It's ridiculous. Oh, here it is. Found it! So I was thinking there's an eyeball somewhere around here. Ah, it may be too big. Darn it. And the skeleton is too big too. Yeah, I don't want to cut into it. All right, we'll do something else. To this little potion bottle only fit here, but it looks quite silly, so we're not going to do that. No, I kind of just like the tearing. If I put something there in the middle, it just totally defeats the purpose of the tearing, now that I think about it. So we'll see. We shall see what happens. Something will come to me eventually. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this little video. Let me know what you think about the new arrangement.